Author of the award-winning Hands of Destin series, Jaycee Jarvis writes stories with a romantic heart set against a magical backdrop. When not lost in the woods of her own in the worlds of her own creation, she resides in the Pacific Northwest with her spouse, 3 children, and a menagerie of pets. Whenever you're ready, Jaycee.
Thank you, Kate. I'm going to be reading from Tax and Courtship, which is the first book in the Hands of Destin series. I've toned down the heat in this passage just a smidge to make it solidly PG. This is Quentin's introduction at the very beginning of the book, in the midst of a heist with the heroine of the story, a professional lockpicker. Hand Auditor Quentin nearly choked on his own panic. They were doomed. The bursar's coming. What? The lovely thief whispered. How do you know? We have to hide you, he told her, though he had no idea where. She took a step back toward the room with the trunk. Not there. He dug his fingers into her elbow. That's his office. The sparsely furnished warehouse offered no better options. Hurry! A thought belonging to another whistled through Quentin's mind. Boss at door! The front door rattled ominously. He froze like a rabbit spooked by an owl. This was a disaster. The bursar was about to find him skulking around the tribute office with a professional thief. He would be dismissed in disgrace, his honor and standing as a hand called into question. His friends would be shamed to know him, and his mother, the thief, pushed him. He staggered into a pile of goods and sat with a thump on a barrel. His staff clattered to the floor. Before he could recover his balance, she straddled his lap. Trust me. He opened his mouth to speak. She sealed it shut with her own. She grabbed one of his hands and unceremoniously shoved it under her clothes. His mind swirled in confusion, his body instinctively reacting to the fierce pleasure of a beautiful woman in his arms. Her lips held the sweet zing of ginger, while a hint of jasmine teased his senses. The rasp of her tongue sent desire galloping to his groin. He had never realized how intoxicating a kiss could be. A fever swept through him. He wanted, needed more. Forgetting where they were and why, he strained closer to her heat. Ho, 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 what's this? The words were loud, the voice unwelcome, unimportant. Nothing mattered but the woman in his embrace. The beauty, however, wrenched out of his grasp and scrambled to straighten her clothing. His body howled with need. Quentin stood and reached for her. Bursar Frederick held up an oil lamp, flooding the scene with light. And here I hope to do you a favor by breaking the monotony of guard duty. Quentin squinted at his superior, trying to parse the bursar's words over the pounding in his blood. Guard duty? Oh, rotting hell! You said no one would bother us here, the thief prompted in a stage whisper. It was pure luck I stopped by, Frederick leered at her, his dark eyes gleaming in the light. No wonder you were so eager to take Tarek Day duty, Quentin. You were already planning a tryst with your lover. His ears burned. She's not. This is awful, his accomplice interrupted. She clung to him, hiding her face in his shoulder. By Firmisa's holy breath, he'd almost given them away with his instinctive honesty. As a hand and a tax collector, he was duty-bound to uphold the law. This subterfuge chafed like borrowed garments. Thank the god of wisdom for his ally's quick wits. He wrapped an arm around her. His heart continued to beat double time from her wondrous kiss. His cheek brushed against her silky hair. Their adventures had loosened her neat coils, and a braid drifted over her shoulder, the dark strands gleaming red in the lamplight. I'm shocked at you, of all people, using the warehouse for such a tawdry purpose. The bursar clucked his tongue disapprovingly, his tone revealing his malicious pleasure. What will the luminary say? Known as the Mind of Destin, the luminary managed all the taxes collected by the auditors throughout the country. As a hand in service to the office, Quentin had been presented to the luminary exactly once. The dour-imposing man would not be amused to learn of any shenanigans going on in a tribute office. Quentin gulped. You won't report me, will you, sir? I should, you know. The bursar wagged a thick brown finger at them both. Tarek Day duty is serious business. An intruder could have snuck into my office while you were distracted. They'd regret it, I assure you, Quentin replied with complete honesty. He, at least, regretted this entire risky scheme, though his mystic friend Ophelia was desperate to contact the novenary, and they had no better plan. The thief gripped his kaftan, her shoulders shaking under his arm. Surely she was too much the professional to bark with laughter, though he sensed it might be a near thing. The bursar rubbed his chin. If anyone finds out I let you get away with this, I won't tell anyone. He squeezed his lovely accomplice. She won't tell anyone either. Frederick fondled the end of her loose braid. I would hate to see such a pretty little thing in trouble. I'm sure she is entirely innocent. Entirely, Quentin agreed through gritted teeth as he fought the urge to swat his superior's hand. I'll let it go this time. The bursar dropped her hair, his lips curling into a cruel smile. You owe me one, Quentin. Quentin flinched. His boss was sure to hold the debt against him. Despite the risks, he took the boon the bursar offered. He had no other choice. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. If you'll indulge me, sir, I'll walk my friend home now. Yes, be careful. Who knows what dangerous outlaws are out there? Quentin kept his arm around one outlaw's shoulders as they left the warehouse. He told himself he only wanted to perpetuate their romantic charade, but his body did not believe him. Desire hummed through him with every step as he tried and failed to banish the memory of their passionate kiss. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this intro to Quentin and his mysterious lady thief. If you're intrigued enough to read on, you can find the link in the chat for my giveaway. I'm giving away Taxing Courtship and the second book in the series. And you can always check out my website for all my book information at Jaycee.Jarvis.com. Thank you for listening, and to Strong Women's Strange Worlds for hosting this fun event.